spelled Otoo.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, this is the new format of the Influential Woman podcast, and I'm doing it live because, I'm being lazy, right? I don't want to have to edit afterwards. Just go up on YouTube and everywhere else, right? And I don't have to edit. And basically, what I wanted to do was follow the format that I have for the Influential Woman framework, which is effectively in three parts. The first part is the attributes of the influential woman, because you know what? In order to be influential, you've got to know who you be. And then
Yeah.
the second part is the influential woman's story. And the third part is the influential woman's business. So let me tell you why I invited Vanessa to speak today. I have been, right, first of all, Daniel is your brother or is he your cousin? Daniel Otoo?
Yeah, I think he is. I'm still trying to figure it out, what the relation is. Honestly,
Oh,
maybe
right.
yeah, I didn't completely know. And then I saw his surname and I was like, oh my gosh, where are you from?
Right.
And
Okay. I thought you guys were related, but anyway, I
we
saw
might
your yeah,
be.
yeah, could be, yeah. I saw your name and I thought, oh, she related to Daniel. But
Yeah,
I have been following you, I think, on Facebook for a good number of months now, and
yeah,
you're into multi-level marketing, right? Is that right? We'll talk about
yeah,
the product, so it's not just we're not talking just MLM here, right? Vanessa does this business with finesse, right?
thank
Because
you
I've been
so much.
following you, Vanessa, for I think it's probably about a year now. And not once have you reached out to me and said, oh, Trish, I think you'd be a good fit, blah, 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 blah. You just do your business, you do your workouts, you do your food. And I'm going, I want the carbs, but man, that looks good.
Yeah,
Right? When you do your food, it just looks really good. And I had been on a call, my very first live podcast that I did with a lady called Francesca McDowell. And
okay.
we were talking about the opportunities that we got involved with when we were younger, right? And not too young either. And we got involved in a number of multi-level marketing businesses.
Oh yeah,
And we were both talking, and I said, Fran said, oh, it just didn't work out for me. I said, you're not the only one. And I said, guess what? I said, I love Danny Johnson's story where she talks about being homeless in her car and she had two products. And I believe Danny Johnson, by the way, is a speaker. She's a trainer. She's a coach. She's written a book. I can't even remember the name of her book now.
yeah.
Do you know who she is,
No,
Vanessa?
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
search it now. Danny Wilson
Dani lady, Danny Johnson. And anyway, she was talking about being homeless, and then she was a millionaire by the time she was 21. But when she
wow.
was homeless and living in her car, she had two, I think they were something to do with diet supplements, basically.
Right.
And she had started up in this multi-level marketing company. And it was like, I need to eat. I need to put petrol in this car. I need to do whatever. So she
Yeah,
reached out to two people. They purchased the product from her. She
yeah,
purchased more and then she sold them again. And basically, she did this until she was able to get back into a house. And then by the time she was 21, she was a millionaire. And I turned around
yeah,
and I said to Fran, you see, I love her story. I'm so inspired by it. But if it was me, I'd have starved
yeah,
because I just dislike multi-level marketing so much. But when I
Mm,
see somebody like you doing it the way that you do it, Vanessa, I was like, I've got to get this lady on because yeah. So I know that was a bit of a long-winded introduction
no,
to why I brought Vanessa on, but you're so inspirational. You just do your thing, man. So I'm going to hand over to you, and we're going to talk about the first part, the attribute of the influential woman. And I think for you, we chose the one on inspiration because tell us how you just keep that smile all day and every day, and just when things aren't going well, you're just still inspiring people.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a good question, and I think it's a question that like in this business we get asked a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's different for every single person.
Hmm.
And the example that you used it's really interesting, but a lot of people join multi-level marketing, especially the business I'm in, for two reasons. It's either desperation or inspiration. So in Danny's case, No, honestly. And in Danny's choice, in Danny's example, sorry, it seemed like, desperation. She had no other options.
Right. Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's sometimes what keeps people going. And, for me, I love self-development is very important.
Right.
Listening to people who have done similar things, just
Hmm.
in terms of facing themselves every day, going outside their comfort zone and not giving themselves any other options. These are the
Yeah.
kinds of people I like to listen to. So, when you talked about being homeless, I thought of Steve Harvey. He was also someone, I think he
Yeah.
spent 3 years
Yeah.
homeless, like
Yeah.
living in his car. And a lot of these people that we do kind of listen to do have stories based on desperation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not my story. I
Right.
am I am comfortable. I run this business alongside a day job, and I am comfortable. But for me, I it all started when I was about 13, and
Right.
and so I talk about this sometimes, and it was the weirdest prayer. When I think about it now at the age of 13, it was the weirdest prayer,
Yeah.
but my consistent prayer that I used to pray for was to be able, because I'm a giving person. I like to give, I like to
Yeah.
help people, but I'm not somebody that kind of just wants to give you £10 and then that's it, because you're going to spend that £10 and you're going to be in the same position,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
whatever time.
Yeah.
So my specific prayer at the age of 13 and 14 was to be able to give people the tools that they need in order to build their own sustainable wealth. And those were the exact words when I wasn't like a scholar.
At 13.
Like that.
Gosh.
It was just a prayer that I believe was given to me.
Yeah.
In all honesty, over the years, I probably forgot about it.
Right.
But as I sort of grew into my life, being wanting, understanding that I do want to give and be able to give in a tremendous way. And when I look at examples like Akon, I'm not a massive fan of his music,
Right.
but I do like what he did for his country, and just being able to supply them with electricity. He
Yeah.
used the money he made
Yeah.
in the industry to support. And so when I think of things like that, that's what I'm driven by. So
Wow.
for me,
Wow.
what keeps me motivated is my vision, and my vision is very big. And I talk about this all the time. Is if you are in this business, it's difficult. A lot of people
Right. Yeah.
think, because it's, all the processes are set up, your online office is set up. In my case,
Yeah.
we don't even have to buy any stock. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
great, but it's still difficult because you still have the mindset of growing your own business. And if it was easy, we would all have very big successful businesses and we'd all
Yeah.
be millionaires. So it just
Absolutely.
goes to show it's not easy. So for me, what I always say is give yourself a vision that moves you, that kind of shakes you, that even when I talk about it now, it's been years, but even as I talk about it, my
Yeah.
heart is like, pounding.
Nice.
When you create a vision, and it's not, I just want to, it can't be small, because there will be days when you can't be bothered. There'll be days when you're crying. There'll be days when your life is like falling apart,
Yeah.
and you're not going to put that on social media, but you still need to show up.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm motivated by the vision of being financially free, being able to almost create a movement of women who are focused on their health and their mindset comes
Yeah.
first. Their financial independence and freedom comes first, not from a selfish perspective,
Hmm.
but from a perspective of being able to truly support the people around you in your best way, in your best space,
Yeah.
and given myself the freedom to be able to go out to countries that I know need help at the blink of an eye, and not have to worry about not being able to book 4 weeks annual leave.
Right.
you know,
Yes. I hear you. I hear you.
at any one time. And that's what I'm driven by, and that's what keeps me motivated, and that's what inspires me every day.
Wow. 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 You certainly inspired me. And you're absolutely right. In fact, actually, I had a conversation with my husband this morning and I said
Yeah.
to him, man, I'm having a few days where I am just not feeling motivated. And because you know that you are the head cook and bottle washer in your business, you don't have
Mhm.
anybody to go buy the stationery for you. You don't have anybody to even make lunch for you, right? You have to do the whole lot. And I'm telling you, so you've probably seen those images where they say, this is what everybody thinks entrepreneurship looks like, and it's this lovely straight line, and then it's like this is what it's really like, and it's like a whole dump of spaghetti that someone's just plopped on a plate, and it's like figure that out.
Oh, rubbish. And it's real, it's so true. People only see, you know,
Yeah,
the good stuff. And I
yeah,
think, you know, there is a space maybe, because the thing is, I feel like you've got to have a balance. You don't want to kind of be like, yeah, it's so hard every day,
yeah,
it's so
yeah,
hard because you're not going to attract people. But
yeah,
there definitely, for me anyway, there's definitely a space to be a bit more open in that area, to say,
yes,
look, you know, there are more days. And I listened to something the other day and it blew my mind. It said out of 365 days in a year,
yeah.
and I posted it on my Facebook,
I
you
think I
only
saw
ever
that.
wake up feeling motivated for 30 of those days.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
I
it's true.
thought, what?
It's true. It's true. It's like I saw that. I saw that you posted that, and I
Yeah.
thought, man, it's true. And so you sometimes have to make yourself motivated. There's a lady now. Come on, what is her name? She wrote the 5 minute rule. Ah, that's really bad. Someone Robbins.
Should I
Uh,
have a, I was looking at Danny Johnson's book, but she's got a few 5 minute rule.
5 second rule. 5 second rule. 5 second
Right.
rule. And it's somebody Robbins. I can't think of her Christian name now. But anyway, she basically they were ready to repossess their house. Her
Oh,
business
Mel
went belly up.
Robbins.
What's her name?
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her kids. She couldn't even get her kids ready for school in the morning,
Wow.
and they would be late for the school bus. But she couldn't get out of bed. And then one morning, she watched a rocket launch, and they counted down. I don't know how many they counted down from. I think it was
Yeah.
five, five, four, three, two, one. And she went, I can do that. And she counted down and jumped out of bed and said,
Yeah.
this is the motivation you need. Just pull the covers off and just get out of bed. And so
Yeah.
she's created this whole business and model around the 5 minute rule. So 5 second rule, sorry. So when you don't want to do something, you count down, and by the time you get to one, it's like having when Elodie was younger, and I'd say to her, "Don't do that," and she carried on doing it, and I say, "I'm going to give you three. One, two." She said to me not so long ago, "Mummy, what would have happened if you got to three?" I said, "Baby girl, you wouldn't have wanted to know, right? The truth is, I don't know what I would have done."
Yeah.
That's the truth, right? But it was like my authority is enough. And I remember one day my nephew was at my mum's, and his mum was there, and he was playing up, and his mum started counting, and she went past five, and I went, "Where are you going past five?" And then she was counting up to 17. I said, "Listen," I said, "You've got this all wrong." Right? 17. I mean, gosh, the rocket would have reached the space by then. So yeah, so when you talk about motivation, it's true, and I'm telling you, I wanted to do a separate podcast today on this audio podcast, but I just need to, I feel the need to say it now. Last
Mm.
night I watched a video. I don't know if you've heard of Russell Brunson. He wrote expertsecret.com secrets,
You're
traffic
just giving
secrets.
me so many names. I'm like writing all of this down. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
having
Oh,
all
good.
in
Yeah,
my.
yeah, yeah. Russell Brunson. He
Yeah.
owns the company called ClickFunnels. So normally when
Okay.
people talk about funnels, they talk about ClickFunnels, right? And he's got an amazing story, full stop, which I'm not going to go through now. Russell is with two L's, Russell
Mm.
Brunson. And he linked up with a guy last year and the year before to do a massive conference called 10X, and where they talk about internet marketing, etc. Now, Russell Brunson is his company is almost set to be $1 billion. In fact, they might have even reached that figure. I've not really been following it, but when I'm telling you, the guy can talk on stage, right? He speaks a bit fast, but he was saying because he's an introvert, when he gets a little bit nervous, he starts speaking faster, right? Which I understand is common among introverts, and then you got us extroverts who just talk fast
Yeah.
naturally, yeah. um, but I just love listening to him, and for me, his pace is fine, because if somebody talks like this, let me tell you, I'm going to put you on double speed, right?
Honestly,
So, but
obviously.
I couldn't believe how. Sorry, what was that, Vanessa?
No, I said I'll be asleep if they spoke like really slow
That's
and
that's me.
monotone.
That's me.
Like,
It's like, come on, man, speed up, yeah. But last night I watched a video of his where he promised us that he was going to tell us what went wrong at this last 10X conference. He didn't make the sales that he wanted to make. And without going into the whole of the story, it was a stadium with 35,000 people, right? Not 3,500, 35,000 people. Apparently the acoustics was really bad. And then the next night when he went up to speak, the guy said to him, basically, because of the echo around the auditorium, every time he spoke too fast, it would just get mumbled and people couldn't hear.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's like somebody saying to me, Trish, slow down when you speak. So I'm going to give a speech, and not only am I giving my speech, I've got to think, Trish, you're going to have to slow down, because, do you know what I mean? I can't be, now you're telling me not to be myself because of your
Yeah.
equipment. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
cut the
Yeah.
long story short, the point that I wanted to get to, they had a target because he went to 10x, and I'm not sure what the last part of it's called anyway, but anyway, the conference. He went to the one in 2019 and he made 1.3 million from the stage, and everyone was like, whoa, you know. And they were going, you got to break the record, right? And so I can't remember what the record was, but everyone was saying, if he doesn't make X million, you know, something's gone wrong. So the
Yeah.
first night, I think they set a record of 1,900 people that they wanted to sign up. Only 300 people signed up.
Right.
The second night, where they were doing a bigger package, they had a target of 300 people to sign up, and only
Yeah.
62, I think, signed up. And
Right.
when you think that it was all the brochures that they created, you know, so the money that they'd spent previously, plus he's got to pay his staff, plus he's got to give a portion of what he earns to the conference organizer. And
Yeah.
okay, he's not gone home broke, right? But he didn't make his record. And when he, with the first one I saw, when he said, oh, they wanted something like 2,000 people and they got 300. Sorry, what was it? No, it was 600. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. And so, of course, I knew what was coming because he'd been telling us over the last couple of weeks. But the point that I wanted to make in all of this, he
Yeah.
didn't give up.
100%.
He didn't give up. And yet
One.
sometimes we launch something, we put something out there, it doesn't go according to plan, and we say, that's it, I'm not going to do this anymore. It doesn't
It must
work.
not work. It doesn't work, honestly. And that is, it's funny. No, it's crazy that you say that as well, because you know, especially when you believe in God and you're just moving along, there's certain things, you know, in any one period of time, you just keep hearing the same thing. And the
Yeah,
most recent thing that I've been hearing is don't give up. I've heard it from
yeah,
so many different
yeah,
angles over the last couple of weeks. And
yeah,
I even honestly, and it runs like, it's just I can't even like get my words together. I
yeah,
remember and there's that phrase always comes to mind in a specific setting. So
yeah.
before I came into level marketing, I have a recruitment background, which is
Right,
quite
okay.
fitting with what I do. So I spent about 7 years recruitment, like managing teams, running my own desk. So it's a very similar kind of mindset in some ways.
Right, yes.
And I remember one time I joined a company and I was working, and one of the guys said, like, Vanessa, how did you, because he was in his first couple of years in recruitment, which, you know,
Yeah.
is just not,
Hard
not
work.
the
It's
best.
hard work and
Yeah.
learning. Yeah.
Hard. And he said to me, like, Vanessa, how have you gotten like this far in recruitment? And I said to him, I just didn't give up.
Right.
And I just never forget that time, and that conversation, and it always pops up back in my mind when I need to hear it for myself.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I said, if I said to somebody else, if they're looking at me and saying, how did I get to where I was, which I didn't even think was anywhere, but
Yeah.
you know, thanks for
Yeah.
the compliment.
It's good.
And I told them,
Yeah.
not to give up.
Yeah.
How can I not say this to myself? And that is the exact same thing. And even so, I work with ladies and we're on our own house plans. We're working towards goals. And
Yeah.
sometimes they are, you know, but like, you know, body goals.
Yeah.
And it's so common. Vanessa, I did this for 2 weeks. It's not working. And I thought, you spent, you know, probably 5 to 10 years in the same habits that you have. And you think 2 weeks is a reasonable time frame to experience some healthy sort of differences and changes. It's
Yes.
not realistic, but
Absolutely.
we're too quick to give up. And there's so many things. I even read something today, but the one thing, I said it in one of my lives before, is we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year,
and
but we
underestimate.
most greatly underestimate what we can achieve in 10. And I
Absolutely.
even read something this morning because I was tired. I woke up, I was like, I just, no. I was like, I am tired. And I read something and it said sometimes it takes 5 years of hard work to get that 1 year of breakthrough. And
Yeah.
then everyone, oh my gosh, in the year of breakthrough,
Yeah.
how did you do it? How did you do it? I've been doing it.
Absolutely.
It's not overnight. I've been doing it. When you
Yeah.
saw me, not come to the party because I had to work, or when you saw me doing that, I was doing it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what you said is so spot on,
Yeah.
because we cannot give up. And on top of that, we need to go through hardship. We need to go through problems, because we won't learn, we won't be motivated. We as a people are motivated when we are able to push past solutions. That's how
Absolutely.
we stay motivated. So we need these elements as part of our journey, and understanding that, recognizing it, having the right kind of mindset, you'll be fine.
I'm telling you, I really have this motto, right? And having worked in corporate and worked as a manager,
Yeah.
I didn't see the follower mentality so much until I started my own business. The
Oh, of
reason
course.
some people are leaders is because you can't give up, because people are watching you. When I had when I as Ella do say, no, mummy, you didn't give birth to me. You had a cesarean, right? But I'd had a fibroid operation some years before, and so I was off work for a little while whilst I recovered. And then when Elodie was born, and I had to have cesarean, and I kind of like went to the doctor. Yeah, I've got to go through this whole thing again. And he said to me, no. He said your healing will be a lot faster this time. And I went, oh, why? He said because you've got somebody else to take care of. You're not just focusing on you. And he was absolutely right that when I had this little bundle of joy, I ain't got time to be thinking pain down here, right? It's like baby needs feeding, baby needs changing, baby needs playing with, baby needs sleeping. Do you know what I mean? So when she went to sleep, that was my time to recuperate, to enjoy, to do, a clean up or whatever, right? And it's the same as when you're in corporate and you see these people and they come to you and it's, oh, Trish, I need so and so, so and so. And in the end, I had this motto, right? You come knocking on my office door to complain, I'm okay with it. Something's not working right, you come and complain. But if behind your complaint there is not at least an offer of a solution, move from my door.
Right. Tell me
Move
again,
from my
honestly.
door.
Honestly, it's true. That's a lot of people, and it's like, I don't know if it's like, because I was born in, like, bred in Bristol, I don't know if it's like a British thing or just a human race thing. But it's so many people are quick to complain, and you're right, it's fine, but what are we going to do about it?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's a very strong mentality to have as well in life anyway,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
runs true to business.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
will be problems, but what are you going to do about it? And that's
Absolutely.
what will help you to move past, to learn. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm saying to you, Vanessa, you have a leadership mentality, and it's that
Thank
leadership
you.
mentality that won't allow you to give up, because you know that other people are looking at you and relying on you. And if Vanessa
Yeah.
says, I can't be bothered to do whatever, other
Mm.
people are looking and saying, "Oh my gosh, And I know we shouldn't have idols, but people will look up to you. We do. We all look up to somebody, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when
No,
you're put on that higher plane, as it were, you just know that it's not just about you now. It's not just about you going and doing loads of business and getting the financial freedom, etc., etc. It's that hand that comes out to say, "Hey, I need to pull you up with me. I
yeah,
can see
yeah.
where you are right now, and I've been there, right? I know
Mm,
what it's like, and I know how you're
yeah.
feeling right now. But trust me, grab hold of my hand, because where I'm going, I need to take you with me."
Honestly, it's just crazy. Like, certain words to a lyric of a song is coming up, but sometimes, yeah, people don't sometimes know that they can grow past the situation that they're in.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
that's the craziest thing. Like,
yeah,
people sometimes just don't even know that they can grow past it, and that's
yeah,
the reality, like, where we are.
yeah.
But yeah. No,
Yeah,
definitely. I agree
yeah,
with everything
yeah.
you're saying.
No, that's fantastic. Well, you've already spoken a little bit about your business, Vanessa, and I must admit I should have asked you earlier. I did it again. I should have asked you earlier because I normally have a ticker tape at the bottom telling people. Tell us more about your actual business.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a business that I've been involved in for the last 3 years,
Yeah,
and it really stemmed from my own kind of personal journey and experience. As I mentioned, I worked in recruitment, a very high-paced, like pressurized environment.
yeah,
So for me, and just like the realities of life, relationships, and things like that, I found myself in a place where I wasn't necessarily invested in myself and put my health first. And it's funny because when you go through times of stress, it's
yeah,
things like stress, how you eat, exercise, they all kind of bring you to a place of equilibrium. So if one's out, so if you're highly
yeah,
stressed, eat well, get in the right sleep, exercise, and has to increase, but
yeah,
sometimes we're highly stressed and we're like in survival mode, trying to do everything that we need, and everything else drops to make it worse. And I was in that sort of cycle. So I started on my own health, watching what I was eating, making sure I
right,
had the right kind of things in my diet, bridging the gap. And I was just like, no, I finished work and I'm not kind I had just decided to put myself like first. If it was lunchtime, I was taking lunch. I was
right,
kind of that's to your lunch, work late. And so
yeah,
I started. So my friend introduced me to a specific product at the time that helped with my health. Specifically, mine was my hair growth, which was important to me. Pre
oh,
my hair,
interesting.
with my and it was amazing.
Sorry,
And since
one second, Vanessa. Can you just hold fire 1 second? My computer is going crazy at the moment and the fan is going mad. Let me just shut down. Yeah, and I don't want it to affect the recording. This eCam that I use is kind of a bit of a hungry beast.
I was there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, let me quit. Here we go. Quit Chrome a second. It should start slowing down now.
No
Yeah, sorry. Every
worries.
now and again, the fan just goes crazy, and we've been complaining. Then they said it was Mac, and I've got a brand new MacBook, and it's still doing it. So yeah, so go ahead. So you were saying about the fact that you purchased this product originally for hair growth.
Yeah, and it was just amazing because for me to look after my health for quite a period of time. Is that the fan again?
Yeah,
Is that
no,
yeah?
you started cutting out again because it's happened a couple of times now. I don't think
I
it's
wonder
me because
what.
I'm hardwired, but carry on. I think we're okay. It's still the fan is going a little bit at the moment. So if you can hear, yeah, I don't know what it is. Something's running in the background and it doesn't like it. Yeah. So
That's okay.
yeah,
No,
go
that's
for it.
okay. So for someone like me who had been focused on my health for a period of time, to actually have an experience like core and visible differences was something I hadn't experienced before. So that
Right.
was when I realized, oh, okay, this is something like I'm actually doing something good for myself. For me, to see my hair growth way that it had in a way that I've never seen before, and that's into the business because I thought people always ask me about my workout, me about my food. They ask me everything because you can see that I look after myself.
Hmm.
So why not incorporate this as part of my diet, but also be able to build an income from it?
Yeah.
And that's essentially how it evolved. So now I support people using a range of nutritional based products to improve their health. And so sometimes, so I've got a background in fitness as well. I qualified and things like that. So for me, it's a holistic approach. And
Nice.
I think that's why sometimes when you mentioned about the way that I operate the business, I believe that's part of the reason why is because this is actually my life. I
Yeah.
just said, I just
Yeah.
said before we went live, I just finished a workout,
Right. Yeah.
working
Yeah.
out, eating well,
Yeah.
motivating myself is a part of data. So now all I do is the same thing for other people. And it's crazy because sometimes you might see me post a shake, you might think, oh, Vanessa in a shake business,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's the part of it, Vanessa, that made me want to reach out to you because you demonstrate
Okay,
your product. It's not just about, hey, come and buy so and so, so and so. Oh, I'm doing this diet thingy, blah blah blah. You demonstrate your product, and to me,
Absolutely.
you're naturally showing people you using the product. You know, in your
Absolutely.
Sunday night dinners and whatever. And as I said, sometimes I'm going, I want carbs, but that looks so good. Yeah. So, you know,
Honestly, yeah. And that's it. That's exactly what I do, and that's why it comes across in the way. And it seems like, oh yeah, it's just a shake, but behind that, of course, people don't see the day-to-day work. It's impossible unless I've
yeah,
got a camera on me 24/7. But
yeah,
behind that, you see women's mindset change. And sorry, I say women all the time. It's not just women, and I'm
I
super
know what you
sexist
mean.
when I do it. But you see people's mindset change just in how they manage stress, how they put
Yeah,
themselves forward, how they organize their self-belief. And then, so for me, the additional income is great, but it's like the cherry on the top. Because when you receive messages people to say, you know, one of them messaged me, and she, you know, she's not so super emotional
yeah,
either, neither am I. So we're like, you know, trying to skate past the emotion. But
yeah.
she said, yeah, I just want, you know, you changed my life.
Wow.
And I was like, flipping it. And this started from £20 on some berry caps, you know, years ago, so I could grow my
Wow.
hair, to
Yeah,
receive messages to say, you know, you've changed my life. It's crazy.
yeah,
And that's why, you know, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of belief, and there's a lot of like, it's just real. It's just my life,
yeah.
and that's what I put out there. So yeah, that's essentially what I do in a long-winded way.
No, that's fine. I mean, as I said, see, again, you've done it. Whereas you've not even mentioned the name of your product, right? Whereas some people, that's all they lead with. I am, you know, whether it's Amway or,
Yeah,
you know, I can't think of the gel one, the aloe vera one. And it's like,
but yeah,
you know, it's like even in my business, I could tell people I'm a coach, right? But what
mm-hmm,
people want to know is, Trish, what can you do for me? And if I can't
100%.
get that, what can I do for you out, and I give my title or what the name of my business is, people really don't care. You know, it's like if I come to you and I need I don't know the first thing about marketing, but I have a business I need to market. Trish, can you help me? And I just start going on about WordPress or, you know, funnels or whatever. And they're like, you know, what are you talking about? I have to
Mm-hmm,
break it down and say, right, this is where you are and this is where you get to. And then this is the process in between that you need in order to get over here. And
mm-hmm.
whereas names and that don't make any difference to anybody. And so what you've done, again, you've come on and you've not even mentioned the name of your business. I started because I wanted to grow my hair. So we need to
Yeah,
talk after. Yeah. And,
yeah.
you know, the nutrition. And I do notice how, I notice how you combine your fitness
Mm-hmm.
into it. So I can see that you take the holistic approach. And so
Yeah,
that to me is what made you stand out
thank
above
you
most
so
people
much.
in terms of doing multi-level marketing. You know, I get people friend me on Facebook. 5 minutes later, they're telling me, I really love your smile. You look like a great fit for my team. What? My smile? You, you, Vanessa, you need to take these people under your wings, right? And give them some leadership skills.
But you know what is you know, it's difficult. Thing is, it's the same thing in recruitment. Recruitment is a very saturated market,
Yeah,
and the thing about and multi-level marketing is anybody can do it if you're willing to do it. Which means, you know, if I interviewed for a recruitment consultant job, interview, I get the job. My sign up fee to what business, but then what comes after that's important. And for me, you know, I you know, just investing in yourself is important. I take training very seriously. There's
hmm,
people in the industry I listen to. I've got notes on notes on notes about how to really relate to people properly, how to lead with your heart in this
yeah,
business instead of, you know, a lot of people think it's like a get quick kind of thing.
yeah,
And when you have that sort of focus, it won't happen. You have to focus on what it is that is important. People
yeah,
generally being healthy. People do want to change their lives. People want to feel motivated, encouraged, and uplifted. They want to feel like they put themselves first without sacrificing everything else.
yeah,
And it is possible. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy.
yeah, 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 yeah. As you say, if it
It
was easy,
definitely
we'd all be doing it.
exactly, we'd all be doing it. And a lot of people say in this industry, help as many people get what they want, and then you'll get what you want. So for
Yes, exactly.
me, and I love it as well because I believe in God. My faith is big and it grows
Yeah,
every day.
nice.
And
Yeah.
for me, even this business ties so well with me as a Christian, the mindset of serving people,
Yeah.
of helping
Yes.
people. That's really what it's about. And just finesse, like, fine tuning those skills, continuing to develop yourself and learning is what gets you further sort of industry. But people are like, send message here, there. And don't get me wrong, you do have to, some people say it's a numbers game. So you have to
Yeah.
get out and reach as many people as you can, but in the right way. And
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't invest in themselves well enough to learn that. Or they may be in their journey. I listen to some people now and they say back when I started, I was horrible, I
Pray,
did this
pray and
and this.
spray, we call it.
Yeah,
Spray and pray.
exactly.
Yeah, I just spread it all over, and I'll
Exactly.
just pray, God, please, will you make sure that you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
let someone
Um,
come back.
and
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, Vanessa, it all comes down to one thing really, and it's no different whether you're in corporation or whether you work for yourself, whether you're running a coaching business or whether you're running, selling socks or whatever. It's one
Yeah.
thing. It's called strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's very
it's
true.
called a strategy, and you've got to know what that strategy is. And my gosh, when I first started in multi-level marketing years ago, and I bought all the Jim Rohn stuff, and he talks about it
Yeah.
being a numbers game, and doing this, and back then it was getting people into your house and blah blah blah. But guess what? It's one strategy that I just can't do. It's just not me. And back then it was like, when you get in a lift with somebody and they shake your hand, it was like, oh right, okay, I saw so and so, so and so. Do you, and for me, and that's why I stick to storytelling, because I hate
Yeah.
selling, right? But I
Yeah.
can tell a story, and then from that
Mhm.
story extract the message, and then from
Mhm.
that message somebody will say, wow, how do you do that? I want to know that. And that's why I stick to storytelling, because I know that in terms of the schemes of multi-level marketing and how to reach out to people, blah blah blah, I probably would be one of those people with the hammer. You want to buy this product, right? I
Like,
can see that you've got double chin under there. You need to you need my diet pill.
honestly, do you know what? I thank God, and I thank God for the way He's like brought me into this and what He's exposed me to learn.
Yeah,
Because without that, I'd be one of those people. Absolutely, like, but you just, you really have to. They say you have to be coachable, and it is really
yeah,
important, like, to
that's
listen.
so
And the
true.
strategy thing that you said is really important as well, because
Yeah,
there's so many ways to do this business. There's so many
absolutely.
different ways to do it. So kind of knowing yourself, how you
Find your
operate.
rhythm. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And in honesty, I'm still finding my rhythm. I think we'll always be developing our rhythm as we like
absolutely.
grow in life and things change.
Yeah,
Before lockdown and quarantine, I was in a different rhythm. Now my job is different and I work from home.
yeah,
I've got a different rhythm. As and when I marry, God willing, or have children, I'll have a different rhythm.
yeah,
It
yeah,
will continue
yeah,
to change, but your openness and your willingness to continue to learn, even if you come into this industry and you're rubbish, it's fine. But you have to be open and willing to learn, to change, to adapt, to reach
yes,
out, to humble yourself,
yeah.
to serve. And I believe that anyone would get there with the right sort of mindset, even if you start with a spray and pray,
Pray,
you
yes,
know.
yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So let me not bash the spray and pray too much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
let me not
As
bash
long
it
as
too much.
no. As long as they're open and willing to learn.
Yeah,
So like, I believe God can work with anybody, but
yeah,
He's not going to
yeah,
work with anybody with a hard heart.
yeah,
That's not. I
yeah.
believe as long as you're open, work can be done 100%.
And you got a point there as well, right? Because you could be moving forward, but moving in the wrong direction, but with the right intention, and God can
Yeah,
always readjust. But if you won't
100%.
move because you're that mule who says I'm not moving, or you are running ahead and you're not hearing the stop, reflect, or
Hmm.
whatever. But if you're moving in a direction and it might not be totally the right direction, but you are, as you say,
Yeah,
coachable, then yeah, so much can change. So, Vanessa, as we wrap up here, tell people how they can get hold of you and find out
Thank
more
you
about
so
your
much.
what you do.
Thank you so my names at the moment are Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook is simply my name, Vanessa Otoo. I think you can see it on the screen, but if you can't, I'll spell it for you. So Vanessa, Vanessa, and as we said, the surname Otoo, spelled OO. And my Instagram's really similar as well, but it's just SS Vanessa Otoo, all one word. So those are the major platforms I'm all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, find me
Okay.
there, drop me a message.
Is there anywhere they can go and find out about your product that you sell, or do you just you liaise with people? Do they just send you a DM?
At the moment, probably liaise with people on my social media. And again, I think it goes back to a lot of what we said about having sort of a holistic approach and solution
Right.
to what it is you're kind of looking for, what it is that you need, and then following that kind of direct in the right place. But I am working on just some stuff that I can just leave there and
Right.
direct people if that interaction isn't there. So yeah, I will follow up with that as and when it is developed.
Okay, excellent. And I'll put the details under this video when I put it on YouTube or whatever. I will put your links there so that people
Thank
can go and find you. But yeah, this is great, Vanessa. I'm so grateful to you because it was last minute when I reached out to you, and this has been great. So for those people who like the selling, the multi-level marketing element, don't let me put you off just because I would starve. You don't have to starve, right? And also as well, I am going to say this about multi-level marketing. You said two things at the beginning, and that's one of the reasons that I got involved in it in the first place. Number one is the self-development. I'm very much into that, and and even for the Christians who kind of say, "Oh, God's not into self-development," let me tell you, if you need to pray and you need to read your Bible, he ain't going to pick up your Bible for you, and he ain't going to make you pray. So when I
one
talk about
time.
self-development, I talk more about self-discipline. What are the things
Yeah.
that you have to do in order to get what you want, right? You've got to do some movement. You've got to make a move. And the other thing is, I really believe that if people want to learn about marketing, I wholeheartedly believe grab a product that's not yours, yeah, so whatever that might be, and go sell that product. And that's why you see all of these some of these, not all of these, some of these big time millionaires now, they started off selling lemonade, right, on the
Yeah.
lemonade stand.
Yeah, you're
You,
right.
do you know what I mean? And it was just getting out there and saying, "Sir, would you like to buy a bottle of lemonade or whatever?" And probably, the first time it's like, "Oh, just go away, kid." And they learned
Yeah.
how to say, they might even have got to, "This is pure lemons, but do you know what is in the drink that you've got there that you're drinking there?" Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? And they have learned
Mm,
from that, and then they've taken what they learned from selling lemonade to now bringing it into their business. Oh yeah, I remember when that happened, and I tell you, one of the things that Russell Brunson says that I really really love is when you do
yeah,
selling and you allow the product to sell itself, you're not selling to the person. They go, oh my gosh, I really need that.
exactly.
Best
Exactly.
form of
And
selling.
that's it. That's it. You let people, like, you know what people want. We know what people
Yeah,
want, and it's up to us to let people see that. And
yeah,
that's what it is. I think, yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Well, I want to say again, thank you so much, Vanessa, for coming on
Thank
today. And yes, this will be on Facebook, it will be on Instagram. I think I can give you the copy after so you can upload it to yours
that
if you want,
would
Vanessa. The other
that
thing you
would be
can do is chop it up and, take bits and put it over social media if you want. And
yes.
yeah, yeah, but
Thank
thank you so much. Keep inspiring, honestly, because I'm telling you, there's some days when I get on Facebook and then I see Vanessa's post, and suddenly it goes from up to
yeah, honestly, I wake up some days and I scroll through and I'm like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just absolutely love it. So thank you so much, Vanessa, and for all of you guys watching. I'll be on next week with somebody else for the Influential Woman podcast live. I will put a link to the framework that I use, the Influential Woman pink print. It is blueprint. I use pink print because it's kind of girly, even though
I love
I'm
it.
so far from being
Yeah.
girly girl, right? But if you guys want to go check that out, it's free. You can just download it, and and have a look at, if you have a story to tell, you want to get your message out there, you hate selling, this is perfect for you, because I create what is called a framework that will enable you to tell your story and get your message out there via your story.
That's
Okay, so
amazing.
excellent. All right.
Amazing, Trish.
Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thank you. I'll
Okay.
catch up with you soon.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't run away. Don't run away.
Okay.